Negative 16p equals negative 2 times quantity p plus 3 times quantity 6p minus 30. All right, so where do you see that we're going to be distributing? What's going to get distributed here? Can anyone tell me? Excellent, negative 2. That is on the outside, and that gets multiplied by both of those terms on the inside. The same with this 3, okay? So I'm going to start off negative 16p, and I just rewrite that. Equals, now I'm going to distribute that negative 2. That's negative 2 times p, okay? And then there's a plus sign here, so I'm going to do plus. But then I'm going to do negative 2 again times 3. Okay, so I've distributed that negative 2. Plus, now I have the 3. I'm going to distribute that 3. 3 gets multiplied by the first term, 6p. And now we have minus a positive 3 times 30. Now here's where I got that minus. Okay, minus 3 times 30. 3 times 30. All right. And so negative 16p stays over on the left. Now I'm going to clean up and simplify. The mathematical term for cleaning up is simplify. So I've got negative 2 times p is negative 2p plus negative 2 times 3 is plus a negative 6. 3 times 6p is 18p. And I have a minus 3 times 30 is 90. All right. So now I still want to simplify by looking for like terms on the same side of that equation. So as I look to the right-hand side, do you see any like terms there? Yeah, right here, negative 2p and 18p. So I'm going to combine those. I'm going to write them out. Maybe you just want to do a V, or you could put them together like this. This is that horizontal version of combining like terms. Plus, now I have a negative 6 minus 90. Negative 6 minus 90. And that's equal to negative 16 times p. All right. So that negative 16p, they just keep coming down, coming down, coming down. Negative 2p plus 18p. If I add only the coefficients, that gives me 16p plus negative 6 minus 90. Think of negative what? Yes, very good. Plus a negative 96. Now, this is an equation. What are we trying to solve for here? What's my unknown? P. That's my variable. You're always trying to solve for that variable. So I have my number, negative 96 here. I'm going to keep this here. I need to get my p's all together on the same side. So I am going to move this 16p by subtracting it. And because it's an equation, equations are balanced. Whatever I do to one side, I have to do to the other. So 16p minus 16p, that's going to cancel out to be 0p. And 0 times anything is 0. This maybe gets a little tricky. Negative 16p, think of that on the number line, negative 16, and then take away 16 more. That gives you negative 32p. Notice the p stayed the same. It's like a last name. We didn't double our last name, it just stays the same. That is equal to negative 96. We're solving for p. Right now, p is being multiplied, so divide by negative 32, divide by negative 32, and p is equal to 3. Okay? Whew. Is it warm in here? You have a jacket on. You have a sweatshirt on. Yes. Yes. Any questions about that? So that's what happens when you have an equation. You are going to solve for that unknown variable. All right? Okay. Let's take a look down at the bottom. All right? We are going to be multiplying now not just a monomial, but a binomial with two terms by another binomial. Okay? And we are going to show you two different methods to do it. One is the box method, and one is called double distributive method. Okay? Whew. Ooh, you haven't used any, huh? All right. Here we go. So we are multiplying the binomial x minus 2 times the binomial x plus 6. Okay? Again, we're going to show you two methods. One is called the box method, and you actually make a box or a square, and you are going to put and divide it into 4 equal sections. Okay? The first binomial, this only works with binomials, those with two terms. All right? Let's put x minus 2 along the left-hand side. So x goes in front of the first row, minus goes right in the middle, and 2 goes right here. And then we're going to put x plus 6, that second binomial, on top. Okay? All right, so then you multiply your first row times your first column. So we have an x here times x here. X times x is x to the first times x to the first. What do we do with those exponents? You add them. So x to the first times x to the first gives you x squared. All right? Then you take the x to the first of that first row times this positive 6. So x to the first times 6 is going to give you 6x. So the box is helping us organize our multiplying. Now we go down to the second row. We have 2 times the x, which is at the top of the first column. So 2 times x is just 2x. And finally, we have 2 times 6, which is a positive 12. Okay? Now, as you look at these terms, hopefully you see you have a pair of x's that we need to combine. Usually those are found on your diagonals, and we have to combine those. So putting this all together, my first term is x squared. Remember, that's a 1 in front, but you don't have to put that down. Then we have plus 6x plus 2x, which we're going to combine in just a minute. And finally, we have 12. So putting it all together, we have x squared plus 8x plus 12. This box method is really kind of an area model. Okay? It's an area model, which is kind of hard for our students to understand, but you're saying I have an unknown amount times an unknown amount in x, and that gives me x squared, and then an unknown amount times 6. So you would have like 6 of those, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then you would have 2 going this way. So actually my square might be a little bit smaller, kind of like this, and then you would have 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 times 2, and this gives you the 12 down here. So it is really showing kind of an area model of what this might look like. Okay? Now, the other way to do it is called the double distributive. Okay? You start with your first term here, and you multiply it by the first term of the second binomial. So I'm going to say x, and we're going to distribute it with x plus 6. Okay? Plus, then I'm going to take my second number or value of my first binomial, so that's a -2 times that same x plus 6. Okay? So when you put it together, you get x times x, which is x squared, plus x times 6, which is 6x, plus, now we distribute that -2. -2 times x is plus a -2x, and -2 times 6 is plus a -12. Here again, you see you have like terms. So putting it together, I only have 1x squared. 6x plus -2, you combine your coefficients only. 6 and -2 is 4x, and plus a -12. That is called the double distributive method. Sometimes we call it the FOIL method. FOIL method. Because you end up doing the first term times the first term, that's the first, and then you do, come on, calm down, you do the outside times the outside, which is this x times this 6, and then you do the inside, let me put outside here, the inside two terms, so that's the -2 times the x, which is what we got here, and finally the last times the last. So this is your last term of the first binomial times the last term of the second binomial, which gives you -12. Okay? So you can use the box method, or you can use double distributive, which is also called FOIL. This only works for a binomial times a binomial. Binomial. Okay? Questions on that? Any questions? All right, let's go to the top of the next page. I'm going to see how far we go. Binomial times binomial. All right, let's take a look at example 1, letter A. Okay, example 1, letter A. It's a binomial times a binomial. You always want to check that first, okay? And I'm going to use the box method for this one. So you might write box. If you don't want to do the box method, you don't have to. What you need to remember is when you are multiplying, these values go on the outside of the box. The answers go on the inside, okay? So my first binomial, x minus 1, I'm going to put that going down outside that first column, x minus 1. And the second one, excuse me, is x plus 7. All right, so multiplying this first black x times the blue x times x, is going to give you x to the second, because when you multiply powers, you add the exponents. X times 7 is what, class? 7x. Remember, you always put the coefficient first. 1 times x is 1x, and 1 times 7 is 7. Here are, excuse me, here are your like terms on the diagonal. So we have an x squared plus 1x plus 7x, which I know I'm going to combine, plus 7. So putting these back, we have x squared plus 8x plus 7. That's your final answer. Questions on that? All right, let's go to B. This time I'm going to use the double distributive method. Double distributive, or the FOIL. Remember, first times first, outside times outside, inside times inside, and last times last. This only works with a binomial times a binomial, okay? So first times first is 3x times 4x. And I'm going to write these out. Outside times outside, let's do this in red. So those are in red. Outside, this is on the outside of those two, times outside is going to be a 3x times a negative 10. That's in blue. Now I'm going to do inside times inside. Find your two inside terms. Is that a negative 4? I think it is. Let me check here. Yes, negative 4. Nope, wrong way. Negative 4 times that 4x. That's inside terms. And then your last terms, the last term of each binomial. So that is a negative 4 times, I can't see it because I've covered it up again, a negative 10. Okay? So putting these together, 3 times 4 is 12, and an x to the first times x to the first is x squared. A 3 times negative 10 is a negative 30 times x to the first, which is x. Then you have a negative 4 times 4, that is plus a negative 16x. And negative 4 times negative 10, negative times negative is a positive 40. And you see you have some like terms in your x terms right here. So my final answer, 12x squared, Negative 30x plus negative 16x is a negative 46x plus 40. And we could have done the same thing using that box method. Okay? So I know it's a little early. How many of you think you like the box method better than FOIL? Anybody think they might like FOIL better? Good morning. Okay, so far the box method is working. All right. Let's do letter, we have a second letter B. Okay. This time you pick whatever method you want. Okay. I think I'm going to do box. So set up the box. And remember, this box method is kind of based on an area model. So 2a minus 12. 2a, that first term goes here. Minus goes right in the middle along with that horizontal line. And here we have 12. And along the top is my second binomial, 5a plus 3. Okay? So what operation are we doing when we do this? Are we adding, subtracting, multiplying, or dividing? Multiplying, yes, multiplying. So 2 times 5 gives you 10. A times A is going to be what? A to the second. Then you do 2A times the 3. 2 times 3 is 6. And you have 1A that's being multiplied. Now, be careful. You need to go down here. This is a negative 12. You need to look at that sign that is in front of this. So that is a negative 12 or a minus 12 times 5 is negative 60 with an A. And then negative 12 times 3 is negative 36, right? Negative. Again, if you have done this correctly, your like terms will be on the diagonals. See, I have the A family there. So writing this down below, try to do it in standard form, greatest degree to smallest. This is 10a squared plus negative 60a plus 6a plus a negative 36. I'm going to combine my a terms, and my final answer is 10a squared. Negative 60 plus 6 is going to give me negative 54, negative 54a, or you could say plus a negative 54a, and then plus negative 36, or you could just say minus 36. Excuse me. Man. Any questions on that one? I'm going to check one thing here real quick. See how far they want me to go. Three, 2 binomials. Okay. All right. I think, how do you guys feel about multiplying a binomial times a binomial? Would you like to see one more, or do you want to have some actual homework time? Homework time? Okay. So we will stop there for today. We will resume these notes on Thursday. Remember, tomorrow you have a skills check. Skills check. So, homework number 2 is on multiplying polynomials and binomials. That is due tomorrow. I'm sorry? No, hang on to it. I'll get another one and we'll staple that together. Homework number 2 is due tomorrow. And you have skills check tomorrow. And if you don't have homework number 2 or homework number 1 completed, do that first. Now, I see a lot of people putting everything away. We still have 8 minutes. You need to take this out. You need to be working on the homework, okay? Get started with it now while it's fresh in your mind, okay? If we're not going to use homework time, then I'm going to remember just keep using and doing notes all the way to the end, okay? Want to see some notes?